Good morning, this is Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. And normally I'm along the Scudig or St. Croix River in St. Stephen, New Brunswick. But today I'm at our cottage, which is on Lake Simcoe in Ontario. And I'd like to say that the land on which we have our cottage is the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Anishinaabe nations. And we're really grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a project for you that's inspired by being alongside the lake or alongside the river when we're at home or alongside the Bay of Fundy, which is not far from us either. And as you can see here, it uses waves. So we are going to be exploring the Waves of Inspiration stamp set and the Waves dies today, and making this very simple stamping project. There's only two parts that are stamped and they're both really super easy to stamp, and I'll be showing you how to do those very shortly. So let's just move that project out of the way. And what I'm going to do, oh, there's a little bug visitor. As you can see, we're here at the cottage, which is like outdoor living. Let me just escort him out. There we go. He's going to go fly somewhere else. So I wanted to show you this beautiful paper that's used in the card that I'm making today. This is the Hello Irresistible paper, and this has been out as an online exclusive for a little while, since earlier this spring. And online exclusives are simply products that are available only online, so they don't appear in any catalog, and they're just available online. Here's a couple more patterns, maybe three more. So this package is 6x6 paper, and it has all these beautiful colors, and I'll show you the backs as well. And I hadn't really thought of it, honestly, as a seaside or lakeside kind of paper, but actually the colors just suggest themselves to be used in the summer and to be used around the water. And so I really like this paper for a summer water-based project. So that's the paper we're going to be using today. It's called Hello Irresistible, and I'll have a full supply list for you later today as well. I'll put that in the post after the broadcast. So here's our project, and we are going to be using a stamp set that came out as an online exclusive as well. And it's been out for some time, and it's in the current annual catalog as well. It is called Waves of Inspiration, and it has these really nice sentiments based on friendship, or this one, you're so totally awesome. That could be for lots of occasions. Your strength is an inspiration, and happy birthday. Then it's got this lovely pelican, a bird that you can stamp as well, and this really fun wave stamp, which looks like it should be super complicated to stamp, but actually it's really easy. And so I've really enjoyed that particular stamp. We'll also be using these dies. So here are the Waves dies, that's what they're called. And you can see they have these two wonderfully intricate waves. And you've got a couple of tags. You've got some birds, you've got some other highlights for the waves, you've got some clouds. And so these are really nice water-based stamp set and dies. And I'm just going to show you a couple more projects I made too. I just forgot to bring them over here with me. Let me see, where did I put those? Okay, so here they are, the other two projects. So here's one that uses the Waves dies, and I'll just take it out of that plastic envelope. So look at that. See how you can layer up the wave die cuts and just make a really fantastic looking card with almost no stamping. The only thing I stamped is just this tag right here. And this is on my website if you want to find it. I have full instructions for it. It was a couple of days ago I posted it. Just go to www.juliescraftaddict.com. And if you can't find it, then just send me a quick message and I can send you the link to this particular card. And this one also is part of a blog hop, so you can look at all kinds of cards from around the Stampin' Up! World, and you even have the fun of voting. So this particular blog hop, you look at all the different cards in the gallery, and then you vote for 5 of your favorites. So I'd be, of course, honored if you voted for mine, but please also look at all of the other cards because they're really beautiful too. So this one I used vellum for one of the waves, and then I used this beautiful holographic trio specialty paper that's new in our annual catalog that came out just in May. and you can see kind of the shine to that, and it's just so pretty. So that's what you can do with some of the Waves dies. And I'll show you another card I made with some minimal stamping and using the dies as well. So I cut out this tag with the dies, the Waves dies, and then I stamped just on a piece of scrap paper. I stamped this really nice pelican, and that's in the new Wild Wheat color. So it's not one that you necessarily would think of putting together with these other colors, kind of with the Flirty Flamingo, the Petal Pink here, which is the paler one, and that's Lost Lagoon. But they actually go really well together and look very seaside. So if you want to see this one, it is also on my website, so www.juliescraftaddict.com. And again, if you can't find this particular card there, just send me a message and I'll be happy to send you the link to that so that you can find all the instructions and on your full supply list. All right, well, let's get on with our particular project we have today. And I will also tell you about some really cool stuff that is coming up. We have bonus days, and if you haven't heard of bonus days, they start on July 6th. It's like Christmas in July starts July 6th this year, because bonus days, you get a $6 coupon for every $60 spend, and then you get to use all the coupons, as many as you want. You can use them all at once if you like, in August. So a $6 coupon with every $60 spend. And you can also look on July 6th, and I'd suggest you look as soon as possible on July 6th to find out about the clearance rack refresh. Now, the clearance rack is something that only gets refreshed a few times a year, and we are lucky because we have it refreshing on July the 6th. So I'd say get there as soon as you can, because things typically sell out fairly quickly there. At least some of them do, and you'll get the very best selection if you go there first thing. So here's our Waves of Inspiration stamp set, and I'm going to use this great big wave stamp. And here at the cottage, I have minimal supplies, so I only brought what I absolutely needed. And you know, to be honest, I forgot that I needed a big block for this, because you can see it's a giant stamp, and it definitely doesn't fit on one block. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it across my 2 blocks. So I wouldn't advise this as a regular occurrence, but if you're in a pinch and you don't have a larger block, you can put them together and just use the stamp itself to kind of stick them together. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. And I'm going to stamp onto this little square. And I'm going to use Lost Lagoon, which is this lovely color, so you can see it there. So I'm going to open that up. And since it's such a big stamp, I'm just going to turn the stamp head upside down, and I'm going to stamp all over this thing and get it as inky as I can. And then we will stamp onto our white paper. Okay. So what we're going to try to do here is stamp just kind of like I did on this one. See how I just put the wave part on there, and that's what I'm aiming for here too. So let's see if we can do that. And we want it to go kind of off the bottom as well, so I'm going to try to position it there. Let's see if we're successful with this. So I'm going to press all over. Because I don't have my big block, I want to make sure I get even pressure as much as I can. And let's see how we did. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, not bad at all. So I just missed a little bit on the bottom there, and I'm going to show you how you fix that. See how on the bottom there's that little strip of white that I didn't really want? And what I'm going to do to solve that is actually use my trimmer and cut off that little piece on the bottom. So what I often do when I'm using a big stamp like this and want to cover a whole piece, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to eyeball that and figure it out, is I'll cut a piece bigger than I need, and then I'll cut my piece to size afterwards. I was trying to make it a little simpler to show you today, but obviously I didn't quite make it there, and that's okay because I can show you how to fix it. Because one of the things that I find people are scared of with stamping is making a mistake. But the cool thing about stamping is you can almost always fix it. And you know what? If you couldn't fix it, what could you do? You could just turn it over and do it again, right? But this is so simple to just take a little tiny piece off the bottom that's what I'm going to do. So I just took that little bit of a ridge off. Look how small that is. And that should solve our issue altogether. So look at that. Now we have a perfect image. So there you go. Okay, so we have our wave. And according to our sample card, what we need to do now is just adhere that to the background. And this is a very simple design. The only die cut I used in the whole thing is this one down here, the tag. And so if you don't have the particular dies, if you just have the stamp set and you don't have the tag dies, well, just cut a little scrap piece of paper and just angle it at either end and cut it that way, and it would work just fine too and look fancy. So let's stick this on here. We're going to use our Stamp and Seal. I really like the Stamp and Seal because it lasts for a long time. I find it goes a long way, and it's very nice and sticky, and so it doesn't dry out on you. I've never had that happen so far, and I really appreciate that about the Stampin' Up! Adhesives. Okay, so we're going to put that right on there. Okay, so now we have this part done. Oh, and you may notice that this color in the background on the square is actually Pretty Peacock, and this one over here is Lost Lagoon. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse what this card has on this new one that I'm doing, simply because, again, I only brought minimal supplies, so I didn't have enough Lost Lagoon paper to do an entire card base. So what we're going to do is use Pretty Peacock for the card base, which I did have, and we're going to use Lost Lagoon for the background of the wave. And so we're just going to reverse those two colors. And the great thing about Stampin' Up! Is their colors coordinate, and so you can do that. And it actually works with the pattern papers. As long as you use the colors that are in the papers, it's just fine. Okay, so while we're assembling this, I wanted to tell you about some other things that are starting on the 6th of July. But first I'm going to get out my Pretty Peacock, so I'm going to use that to stamp on my little tag here. So I've already cut out the tag with the waves dies, and I'm simply going to stamp Happy Birthday on it. So that's what I'm going to do next. All right. So I've already told you about bonus days, where you get a $6 coupon for every $60 spend, and the clearance rack refresh, and those are both starting on the 6th. And there's also going to be a flash sale on past Paper Pumpkin kits and Paper Pumpkin refills. And that is for anyone who is buying the current Paper Pumpkin kit for this month, which is a beach themed one and really, really nice. Here's our Happy Birthday, by the way. So it's a really cute kit, and if you're buying that one, you can participate in the sale up to 50% off. And also there's one more thing. So there's these 4 things all happening on July 6th. One more thing is online exclusives. So I was saying how these waves dies are online exclusives, or they were when they first came out. And we have a new set of online exclusive products which are almost entirely Christmas and holiday themed, with winter kind of theme as well. And those are coming out on July 6th. So if you want to get a jump on your crafting for the holiday season, you may want to get some of these particular products, because I can tell you right now that they're really, really nice. The ones that I've seen are fantastic. And there's also a set of DSP, that's Designer Series paper. And so you can get the paper and start using whatever Christmas and holiday oriented stamp sets you have right now. So there's our Happy Birthday. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to adhere our paper, which is the Hello Irresistible, to this yellow, which is Daffodil Delight. So that is the yellow that's in this paper. Okay, so I'm going to just adhere that to our panel of Daffodil Delight. Yeah, so anyways, it really feels like Christmas in July this week, because there's so many cool things happening, and all starting on July the 6th. If you have any questions about any of them, please let me know. I've just given everybody the details in my newsletter. So if you haven't joined my e-newsletter, please do. You can go to www.juliescraftaddict.com and select the tab that says e-newsletter and just sign up for it there, and then you'll find out all the stamping news as it becomes available. Now we're just going to place these elements to see where we want them to go. And I think that should work pretty well. So we're going to get out this twine next. So let's see. I have a pack of it here, and it is 2023 to 2025 in color jute trim. And so you get one of each of the 5 in colors. And so this is Moody Mauve, Pebbled Path, Boho Blue, Copper Clay, and Wild Wheat. And interesting to me, this Wild Wheat color is one I thought I would never use. And I think it's the one I've used the most because I'm always running out of things in this color. It just seems to match everything. And it's a really trendy color. I've seen it all over the place. We recently went on a trip to New Hampshire, and my daughter even got a hat in that color because it is so trendy right now. Okay, so we are going to just put a little bit of adhesive on here because I want to stick that down when I put it on. So I'm just going to use it right off the spool, and I'm going to stick it onto the back there, right in the middle, and then feed this through the ends. And I need my scissors. Apparently I didn't bring them. My lovely assistant, who is my daughter in the background here getting her breakfast, she's going to hand them to me. Thank you very much. So we're just going to cut that. We will just need enough to stick it to the back of the panel. So that's how we're going to do that. But before we do that, I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back there to kind of pop it up. So here are the dimensionals, and I love these little things. Again, the adhesives you get from Stampin' Up!, I've just found them to be top-notch. I've been using them for years and years, and that is really the #1 reason I've stuck with Stampin' Up!, because I love their adhesives. They don't get all messy or dry out on you like so many seem to these days, and I really like them. So here we go. We're going to put that on. Let's just arrange this to make sure we've got it the way we like it. Kind of everything evenly sorted here. Let's see, is that going to be about right? Yeah, I think so. That looks pretty good. Okay, perfect. And now I can go ahead and adhere those to the back, and we can just use a mini glue dot to do that. It's another one of my favorite adhesives, these mini glue dots. And they're so easy to use. That's what I like about them. So I'm just going to tear off this extra paper that I've already used, and I'm going to put them down here. So if you haven't seen them before, there's the little dot, and you just put the item itself right onto the dot and lift up the dot, just like that. So it's really, really great for sticking things down. And I'm just going to adhere that to the other side. They're super sticky, and they work really, really well. Oh, and by the way, I never said this morning yet, but please tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to hear. As I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining me later on, I'm actually living in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, which is a border town with Calais, Maine. But we're here in Ontario at our cottage on Lake Simcoe right now. And so it's a different place and different scenery, and we're just having a lovely time here. But I'd love to hear where you are from, or where you are right now. Maybe you're away from home at the moment. Okay, so we're going to flip that over, and we are going to put on some dimensionals. Here we go. So this cottage crafting video, it might be a little on the blurry side because we have rural internet here, so my apologies. But that's the stuff of real life, right? And things are not where they are at home. I'll try to remember to post a picture of my video setup here because it's not really anything like I have at home. But we'll do our best, and I think you guys will understand. All right, so let's take this jute trim and now we're going to add a little bow. So I'm just doing the bunny ear style of making a bow. I just made one little ear, went down the ribbon and made another little ear. We cross them over and tuck that one through and pull just to make a little simple bow. Then you can hold the center and pull. And I really like this method of bow tying. It's made it so much easier. Oh my goodness, I wish I had known about it years and years ago. I remember making 300 little teeny bows for Christmas cards one year, and this would have made it much, much easier than it was, but oh well, I didn't know about it then, so I did bows the hard way. All right, so I'm just putting a little mini glue dot there, and I'm going to stick it right onto the tag. So just like that, very nice. And now we'll want to take our panel and we're going to put it on our pretty peacock card base. Oh, hi Kathy, it's nice you could join today. Yeah, I'm just in the middle of making a card that uses the Waves of Inspiration stamp set. It's a really simple one though. Only one die cut, and that's from the Waves dies. And only a couple little bits of stamping. So it's super simple. It's not a difficult card at all. I don't think any of us are really up for that in the middle of summer when things are really hot. And tell me too, folks, how is the weather where you are? Because we've had a heat warning here for the past couple of days, and it's still on for today and tomorrow. It's supposed to be 31, which, you know, is par for the course in the summer. However, it's supposed to be up to 36, 37 with the Humidex. And we don't have any air conditioning here. Our only air conditioning is provided by fans and the windows in our cottage. So it gets kind of hot, but it's all part of summer, isn't it? Before you know it, we'll be complaining that it's too cold and snowy. So I think we better enjoy it while we've got it. All right, so there's most of the card. I am going to take a panel and just put that inside so we've got something to write on, and then I'll put the embellishments on as the final touch. So let's just do this. And I like to make my interior pieces to write on at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I used to make them larger, but I kind of like this bit of a frame around the outside, so that's my standard go-to now. All right, so now you can see from my original card, I did put some embellishments on, and these are super nice little ones. They're brand new from the new catalog, and I'll just show you what they're called. They're called Tinsel Gems 4-pack. So I'm going to take them out so you can see them better. And they come in these 4 colors. So this, I believe, is Pretty Peacock. The blue, I think, is supposed to be Azure Afternoon, but you could use it for a number of blues. This is either Berry Burst or Bubble Bath. It can work for either one. And then this one is actually Lemon Lolly, one of the new colors. But as you can see, it goes really well with the yellows that we have on here. Our yellows are not the same. This is Wild Wheat. This is Daffodil Delight. And these are going to be Lemon Lolly, but they all work really well together. And I was pleased to see how well they do work together, actually. So let's get these little guys on here. And let's see, I had another one, whoops, over here. I'm missing my Take Your Pick tool, which has the little bit of putty on the end to place these tiny little embellishments, because they can be a challenge to pick up with your fingers. At least they are for me. I don't know if they're the same for everybody else, but I find them a challenge. Okay, and this one I'm just tucking slightly beneath our happy birthday tag just to kind of bring all the elements of the card together. And let's see, how about that one? Did I get that one on okay? Yeah, I think I did. So that is our card for today. And don't forget, there's 4, not 1 or 2 or even 3 specials, but 4 specials starting on July 6th. We have bonus days, the clearance rack refresh, a flash sale on past paper pumpkin kits and refills, and our new holiday online exclusive collection is coming out with brand new DSP for winter, holiday, Christmas crafting. So thank you so much for joining me today here at the cottage and putting up with all of the differences that I have when I craft here at the cottage. I appreciate that. And I hope you have a wonderfully crafty week and a wonderful beginning to summer. Okay, bye for now, friends.